Good morning. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Clint. How are you?
Not too bad. Pretty good.
We got your gift. It's on the wall right behind me.
Okay, okay.
Above
Very good.
Pa's head.
Looks pretty nice on that
Yes,
wall right
very nice.
there.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. It is an appreciation to you guys for spending a part of your lifetime with me.
Yes. Well, we enjoy it.
Many different Zoom you have joined me, giving me a chance to share knowledge and learn and grow. So I owe a debt of gratitude to you guys.
Well, thank you. And we appreciate you sharing with us. And in a way you share, I appreciate the way you share too, because it keeps my mind going and focused.
Okay,
Yes.
good. Last week I wanted to start talking about the candle of character in our house of holistic health and a house of holistic wealth. But as I was going through, and I noticed that there is an important lead into character that is part of the wisdom that I did not share enough. And so I want to get a chance to talk a little bit about that before we talk about character. But I am very grateful for those of you who are joining the Zoom today. Okay. Um, this is a part of a journey with a roadmap to our inner world, to understanding and mastering our inner self, so that we could ultimately take ownership of our life. So what we're really doing is each week we get on Zoom and we share knowledge in order to expand our awareness, okay, expand our awareness and perception in order to create things such as happiness, okay, health, and peace for ourselves, for other people. Okay, it is a journey, and the journey fortunately has a roadmap, a 21-day step-by-step process by which we open our awareness, we enhance our understanding and perception about life in general. And the ultimate goal is to reach a state of health and happiness, okay, and peace along with that. And so up to now, we have been going on this journey and we have gotten to wisdom. In fact, let's go back to that. This is a house of holistic health and holistic wealth. We've been working on raising our awareness and perception about wisdom. And with wisdom, we understood that there are 5 levels of awareness. There are energy, which correspond to attitude. Okay, the energy of wisdom is also the candle of attitude right there. So when we light up, wisdom begins with simply the levels of awareness. Right, different levels of awareness correspond to different levels of wisdom. And as we cycle through different levels of awareness and we start to initiate wisdom at different level, we begin to also exhibit different energy in the form of serenity, magnanimity, and honor and gratitude. And like all things in this universe, there is a material manifestation. That material manifestation came to be. It is, we can see it, we can feel it, we can measure it. They came to be because there's an energy vibration, and then there is an information, which is the basic construct of that thing. So it's same thing with wisdom, okay? If we have a basic construct of wisdom, we understand what wisdom is, different levels of awareness. Those information give rise to the energy of serenity and magnanimity and gratitude. Then we ultimately will materialize wisdom. And when we look at people of wisdom or wise people, we will notice that they tend to have these material manifestation all in common. Life to them is pretty simple, simplicity. They have joy. They are trusting of other people, and people trust them. And there is a sense of lightness to it. Okay, so that is the material manifestation or the physicality of a person of wisdom. And so we take a little closer look at the material aspect of wisdom. Okay, so in this philosophy, what we try to do is we turn intangible things, non-material concepts, such as happiness and wisdom and peace. These are the intangible things that people find to be very vague. And because it's been vague, it is tangible, it's difficult, historically, it is difficult to transmit and transfer and deliver these things from one person to another. Right? How do you give somebody happiness? How do you give somebody wisdom? But in this philosophy, we learn to materialize that which is non-material. We learn to materialize that which is spiritual. And by the process of clarifying the information, by the process of exploring the energy of an intangible or non-material concept, we can actually materialize it, and we can actually give it to another person so that they will also experience the same reality that we do. Okay, it is a process of transferring reality. So today, we're going to start with the first part of the materialization of wisdom, okay, called simplicity. So let's, I'm going to begin with a statement and see if this word of wisdom, okay, the following statements are considered words of wisdom. People who have succeeded, people who have experienced happiness as a fruit of life, have given us the following statement about wisdom. It is said that if you simplify the complex, then that makes you an expert. If you do the simplified things routinely, you're a professional. If you routinely do things with heart, then you are a winner. Okay, so I'll repeat that. You can write that if you want. If you simplify the complex, that makes you an expert. If you do the simplified things routinely, that makes you a professional. And if you routinely do things with heart, that makes you a winner. In other words, we can succeed in any areas of life if we learn to simplify the complexities of life. And once we simplify it, we just routinely do it, repeat it again and again and again. And that makes us a professional in that field. And if we do it wholeheartedly, with heart, right, with care, with mindfulness, then eventually we'll be a winner. We will succeed. Okay, so let's see how that idea of simplicity applies to human life and experience in general. So basically, that statement has been turned into the 6 golden words in action. We most of us may have came across this 6 golden words in action before, and it's a good idea to review it. So 6 golden words in action. Okay, in any action. If we want to succeed in life, if we want to make it big, we simply, number one, we do it simply. Number two, do it joyfully. Number three, do it trustingly. Or do it lightly. Light, T-L-Y. 5, do it routinely or regularly, right? And number 6, do it wholeheartedly. In other words, when we look at a person that we consider wise, we will find that they know how somehow they are able to simplify things in life. They have joy. They have trust. They have a sense of lightness. Thus, we can sense it. We can feel it. Okay? And we say that, oh, that person is wise. That is a person of wisdom. And we can trust in them to give us advice if we need to. We can trust in them to give us direction, because they have been able to manifest materially wisdom. Okay? Now the thing is, everybody in this life is born not with extraordinary abilities. Most people are born pretty normal. Okay, for the ordinary. But it is through their actions. It is through their actions that they become extraordinary. Okay, everybody's born fairly ordinary, but it is through their action that determine the ordinary person from the extraordinary person. Right, so when we take a look at the extraordinary people in life, what makes them extraordinary? Well, it turns out that they have these things. They have these 6 golden words in action. Some of them may not even realize that they've been doing it, but by doing it simply, do it joyfully, do it trustingly, do it lightly, routinely, and wholeheartedly, they have succeeded. And other people look at them and other people say, oh, that is an extraordinary person. And our master, okay, our teachers, our mentors and masters in this philosophy, upon researching into human passion and mission and motivation, they have discovered the followings. That when we can prove to other people that we have passion or we are passionate about something, we showed other people that we have a mission about something, or we showed to other people that we have a certain motivational survival motivation that is big enough, then people will pour their resources in support of us. So let's write that down. 3 words. Passion and just passionate. When you find a person that is passionate about something, Do we find that it is are we more readily inspired and motivated to help them when you find somebody who's really passionate? Yeah, right. If they're really passionate about something, then we are more readily able to help them, complete whatever task they're on. And if we find that a person has a mission in life, are we also more readily willing to help them and pool our resources to help them in that mission, if that mission is big enough and inspiring enough? And if another person can exhibit a certain, the way they behave, the way they do things, out of survival motivation, okay, there are 4 of them. Remember the survival motivation, or also known as the 4 debt of gratitude: the world, the organization, the family, and the self. If a person's survival motivation is all about themselves, then that's fine. People who are really close to them, like the parents, their siblings, or their best friend, may be willing to pour their resources into helping them if their survival motivation is just for themselves. But if a person's survival motivation is a little bit bigger, if they are working toward helping their family, or if the person's survival motivation is even bigger than that, working toward helping the organization. And ultimately, we look around, and a person who has a survival motivation that encompasses the whole world or society, at the same time benefiting their organization, their family, and themselves, then when a person can show to the world that their motivation, not motive, okay, not motive, we would not support anybody who would think they have some motive, but we would support people who have survival motivation as their impetus, their drive. We notice, oh, that person has a mission. We notice that, oh, that person is very passionate. And so we tend to support those people. We are inspired to pour our resources. It could be in a charitable mission, or it could even be in a business investment. If we approach a person and their business plan and the business goal is only to make money for themselves, then no, we're not gonna be very willing to put our investment into that person. But if a business person has as their mission and as their passion and as their survival motivation something that encompasses our own, that we see benefit for ourselves, that person, our family, that person's family, our organization, that person's organization, and we see the benefit for the entire world, would we be more willing to pour our resources into investing and helping that business person achieving their goal, their mission, their dreams? And so it is the same for us. If we want to achieve our dream and goals, and if our mission encompasses the world, right, and our organization and our family and ourselves at the same time, then we become an attractor. We become a force that attract resources and human beings who will come and support us achieving that goal, that mission. But to simply say that I have a mission, okay, to simply say that I have a passion for something, or to simply just state it in words is not enough. Right? People are not going to believe us. People are not going to trust that we will actually carry out that mission, that our motivation is not motive, that our passion is not just something fleeting fad. So how do we prove to the world and other people that we do have passion, that our mission is for them, that our survival motivation is all encompassing? Simple. We have the key, and that key has 6 notches in it. It is 6 golden words in action. Right? So six golden word in action is actually the key to succeeding in all life's endeavor, big or small. To do it simply, to do it joyfully, to do it trustingly, to do it lightly, to do it routinely and wholeheartedly. So let me see, check my note. When we can show to the world that we have passion and mission and an appropriate survival motivation that is all encompassing, then we can attract resources, people and resources to help us in our endeavor. And when we attract resources and people to help us in our endeavor, what happened is that we actually do this. We actually energize or light up our capability. That candle capability become the candle of power and influence. With power and influence, we can then more simply carry out our passion, our mission, and our survival motivation. You see? So the key to attracting people and resources is a six golden rules in action. And once you grab hold of that key and turn it, and people and resources come to us, then people and resources become power for us to be more effective in our mission and our passion and our goals for society. So fortunately, for those of us who are studying this philosophy, we now have that key. Okay, we have that key to access all the resources and the support of the world in order to accomplish whatever we need. And this key, six golden words in action, is also the key to turn an ordinary person into an extraordinary person. Okay, this key that turns an ordinary person into an extraordinary person is also the key that removes the six barriers of personal growth that we talked about on day one. Right, first barrier being self-trivialization, thinking of ourselves as ordinary, trivial. Second barrier is fear of failure. Next one is fear of criticism. Next one is fear of a lack of condition or lack of resources, lack of knowledge. And finally, lack of future vision. But once we take hold of this six golden words in action, it will begin to eliminate the self-trivialization. If we do something simply, joyfully, trustingly, lightly, routinely, wholeheartedly, over time, it will build up and we will become extraordinary. We're not trivial anymore. We no longer have any failure because we're not so concerned about failure. We're only concerned about simplifying things. We do it with joy. We do it with trust, lightness, and routinely repeat it. And when we do it wholeheartedly, resources and people would pour in to help us. So no longer lack of condition, no longer lack of knowledge because people will come and teach us. And when we have a future vision and we just take it step by step, simplify the complexity. Right? When we simplify the complexity, that makes us expert. And when we routinely repeat the thing that is simple, we'll become a professional in the field. And so the six golden words in action is also the key to remove the six barriers of self-limiting awareness. Okay, so let's take a look at, well, before that, any impressions so far? Any insight before we move on to simplicity? Today, we're going to talk about simplicity. gonna wait until somebody comes back into the Zoom. Hello, chị Hoa. Are you guys eating? Oh, you're on mute. Go ahead and unmute. Would you like to share something about the 6 golden words in action or about wisdom in general before we go into more details?
Simply joyful, transformative, golden words in action. No, just
Okay.
just follow what it is. Thank you so much for the picture. It's on the wall. Oh, I was
Yeah.
so I meant to send you a text and say thank you so much. It's so beautiful.
Well, it's my wife did that. Okay, yeah, she's the
Really?
artist. Yeah, I'm not a draw artist. My wife is the one who draw that one.
Oh wow, she's
But the
quite
word one what is it? Đồng ngôn, đồng thuận, đồng hành. What did I say in English?
one word. Let me go check.
One mind, one heart, one journey.
Yeah, one mind, one heart,
Yeah.
one journey. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the idea.
So
When
awesome.
you know, a couple we speak, we're of the same mind, we're of the same heart, and we are co-journeying, then you know, a couple can go very far wherever we want.
Yes. Also, I want to share about number one. Simply,
Okay. Okay.
when we use the word simply or simple,
Mm-hmm.
the energy is better than easy.
Yeah.
Easy is different. It's a different energy. So if we can say simple, then our mind goes like, oh, simple. So it's good to absorb. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
like that the teaching about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the rest
Yeah.
is
With the the word simple, when I mean the word easy, comes from a sense of arrogance. It's easy. So you know, in the pride, in the human construct, right? We have human nature. We have the nature of pride, and when we say something, oh, that's easy, then we're actually putting ourselves in a space of arrogance, and that makes us over time become actually negative.
right.
The you know, the greater the pride, the harder that we're gonna fall. So to protect ourselves in this philosophy, we switch over to say that, oh, that's simple.
Yeah.
Okay, and then so that's that's the idea. That's the reason why we avoid the word easy, to protect ourselves, and we use, okay, it is simple.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you for that. That's a
Yeah.
good lead into you know, the topic of simplicity. Okay,
Wonderful.
so let's
Ron
yeah,
will be
that's
right with you.
perfect.
He's right
Yeah.
here coming.
Okay. So perfect lead into simplicity. Okay. The first line that says, do it simply, and simplicity. Before studying this philosophy, right, we noticed that life could be complicated. Right, there's so many issues to deal with, so many challenges, so many things that demand our attention, so many problems. But when we study the philosophy, we take a look at the life and we realize there's only 4 problems. All of life can be narrowed down to only 4 problems, or at least just 4 areas that we need to worry about. The area of our inner being, our inner world, our inner self, okay? The area of our health, the area of our relationship, and the area of our finance. Before we study philosophy, when we come to think about inner self, ooh, you know, we think about our mind, our emotion, our spirit. that too was really complicated. Psychology is a field that studies the human mind. Psychology has been in development for hundreds of years, and the more we study the human mind, the more problem we find. And by studying the problem of the mind, unfortunately, did not really bring a person's peace. Does not necessarily solve the problem. It just, we just expand our knowledge of the problem, but we don't actually reach a state of mental health. Right? The psychology book comes with has a diagnosis of tens of thousands of diagnoses of what a mental problem is, but very little statement on what it means to be mentally healthy. Before we learn this philosophy, medical understanding is very complicated. It takes doctors at least 10 years, some of them 12 years, to have a certain understanding about the human body. And most of them is related to pathology, which is health problems. But in this, when it comes to health, previously, health is very complicated, right? So many health problems. But in our philosophy, we understand that health only has 3 words that we need to worry about, maybe 4. There's our physical health, there's our mental health, there is our social relationship health, and for some people, spiritual health. Finance. Ooh, that's a whole, complexity that people have to deal with when it comes to finance. But in this philosophy, we also simplify finance. We understand that wherever there's people, there's money. We understand that, money reflect our inner being, and that we understand that the amount of money that we make is in proportion to the amount of value and the number of people that we help. So what we have just done is we have just simplified all of life's problems. Now if we were to pick and choose only the simple things to do in life, okay, if we go through life and we only do the things that are simple, okay, will that make life simple? That's a quick question to think about. If we only choose the simple things to do, the simple task to do, will that make our life simple? When those of us who are in a business and we have employees, when an employee first join a business, they just learning out, what do? We give them the simple task first. When our children were literally really young, when they were, babies and toddlers, we give them the simple task first. But is that actually very helpful in helping them, to simplify life? So simplicity here is not about choosing to do the things that are simple, because there are things that are complex. How are we going to solve the complex problems of life if we only do things that are simple? Okay, all we do is things that are simple, then we avoid all the difficult things, we avoid all the complex things, then we would not have solved any problem. So it is not about wisdom. It's not about choosing to do only the simple things in life. Wisdom is about simplifying the complexities of life. That's the difference. There are some people who go through life and only choose to do everything simple. They avoid drama. They avoid difficulty. They avoid challenges. Right? Imagine a child that avoid difficulties and challenges. Well, that child will never grow. Same thing with adult. If adult choose only to focus on simple things to do, then they will never grow. Right? Our phone gets more and more complex. every year, new model comes out. But if we choose to only do the simple thing, then we would still be dialing on a rotary phone. That is the simplest piece of communication device. Right? And our life would not actually get better. Some group of people choose that, right? Some people choose to live a simple life. They choose to do only the simple things in life. But if you only do the simple things in life, you also limit your ability to help other people. Right? We limit our capability. If a child can only count 1, 2, 3, 4, and we, by the time we're an adult, we can only count 1, 2, 3, 4, then that's fine. Now, life is very simple, but we cannot do greater math. We cannot do business. We cannot help anybody else in a bigger capacity. So simplicity is not about choosing to do things that are simple. It is about simplifying that which is very complicated. In this philosophy, right, as I said earlier, human life and experience, ooh, that's complicated. But we have taken step through the process of wisdom. We have simplified wisdom. We have simplified human life and experience. In fact, let's take a look. Hang on. Yeah, in fact, to master all of life's, all of human life and experience, we only need 3 words. Imagine that, human life and experience. We have just simplified, in our philosophy, we have just simplified human life and experience into just 3 words. And if you've been following, our knowledge sharing, you have been following a journey with a simple roadmap, and we have learning only 3 words. It is the words cause, condition, and effect. Cause, condition, effect, or causality, 1 word. Just 1 word. We have, in all of life, boils down to 1 word: causality. Okay, what is the cause of life that will give us the effect that we want? What are the conditions that will influence that effect? When it comes to cause, conditions, and effect, right? If the outcome that we want is a good life, then what is the cause? Okay, it is what is then the seed, or the cause is the inner awareness. Okay, we use the analogy of the seed and the fruit. Okay, if we want to reap the kind of fruit of life that we consider good fruit, good life, then the seed is the inner awareness. Yes, that's what we've been doing with wisdom. Wisdom is simply understood as levels of awareness corresponding to levels of wisdom. And while there are 5 levels of wisdom, we don't care about level 4 and 5 most of the time. We only need to worry about level 1, 2, and 3. So up to now, all we've really been doing is working on the seed, the cause of the equation for a good life. And then at some point, we'll get to at some point the condition. Right? We're going to plant the seed. We want to plant the seed in a good condition so that it'll grow. At some point, I will share with you the affinity. We talked about some of it, which is our relationship with people. Affinity means attraction. So we have a good inner awareness, we have positive affinity, we're going to experience good life. And all we need to know is 3 words, and we will master all of human life and experience. In fact, causality has been spoken of in the religious perspective. In the Christian religion, it is called the Golden Rule. Golden Rule. Golden Rule basically say that what you reap, the fruit, is what you plant. That which you sow, so shall you reap. That's the Golden Rule. So all of life can be boiled down to one statement. The Golden Rule. That which you sow, so shall you reap. If you want a life of happiness, all we gotta do is sow seed of happiness. If you want to experience a life of material abundance, sow the seed of material abundance. Become aware, right? Work on our awareness and perception about material abundance. If we want a life of good health, guess what? Sow the seed of good health. Develop our awareness about health. And then at the same time, we cultivate the condition. We help other people. If we want to be rich, help other people be rich. If we want to be healthy, help other people be healthy. If we want to have knowledge and wisdom, well, share it with other people so that they will gain knowledge and wisdom. So by clarifying, knowledge and wisdom for other people, we experience that reality for ourselves. Okay, pretty simple, huh? This whole journey just boils down to one golden rule, one law, natural law of causality. Okay, let's see. Usually when it comes to a person's life maturity process, young people tend to, let's take it our life, to the age. Young people, the youth, when we were young, most of the kind of knowledge that we try to accumulate are worldly knowledge or knowledge of the world. All right, we go to school, we learn math, we learn arithmetic, we learn science, knowledge of the world. And we're concerned about things like career, right? Profession, what kind of jobs? Friends, okay? Like young people consider about friends. And then, we start to develop a certain outlook in life. And as we get a little older, let's say by the time we're in our middle ages, okay? Middle ages, we start to focus on our maturity, our inner world. Okay. We start to worry more about our health, our finances, things like that. Right? These are the things that the middle-aged people start to think about. And then when we get to a more senior age, okay, more senior age, we start to think about spirituality. We actually think more about causality, especially in a spiritual and religious context. Right? Where am I going? What is the meaning of my life up to now? Does a soul exist? Where does it go after I die? And then we think about legacy, right? What are we leaving behind? Things like that. That's the typical, that's a typical path that most human beings take. When we're young, we're concerned about the worldly things, career, professions, our friends, our outlook in life. As we get a little bit more mature, we start thinking about our inner being, right? Our mental, physical health, our finance. We start worrying about our mortgages, investment, things like that. And then we get a little more senior, we start to get more spiritual, start thinking about causality. Young people don't think about causality. They don't, people are not concerned about the consequence of the action when they're younger. Right? It's only when we get older when we start to think about, the consequence of all my actions. Okay. Well, in our philosophy, we actually turn that upside down. Okay, we actually turn it upside down and we go in reverse order. Our masters, our sages, the mentors and the master, they begin by teaching us causality. In this process, we begin by tapping into the spirituality dimension of a human life and experience. And by doing that, what we do is that we supercharge or accelerate the maturity process of a person. Even at a young age, when we begin to start thinking about causality of life, when the spirituality of life, we can accelerate a person's maturity. And then once we experience a degree of maturity, when our inner world is healthy, our mind, our emotion, and our spirit is all in order, our health and our finance is all in order, then the stuff about the worldly knowledge becomes even much simpler. We can become rich a lot faster than the other way around, if we have the foundation of spirituality and causality. And how do our masters and mentors do it? Well, fortunately, they do it with the 6 golden rules in action. And they begin with spirituality and causality, and they just simplify it. Simplify all of life, all the complexity into just 3 words: cause, conditions, effect. All the problem in just 4 words: inner being, health, relationship, and finance. And they do it in the reverse order by starting with the spiritual and the causality stuff. Right? And that is why in the house of holistic health, we also begin from the bottom up. Most of the time, we don't think about a person becoming wise until they get ripe old age. But here, we begin with wisdom in just, 2 weeks into the 21-day sharing. If a young person can achieve a state of wisdom whereby they can rotate the different levels of awareness, they can rotate among serenity, magnanimity, and honor and gratitude, then all this stuff on the top, in a short time, they can achieve very quickly. The other way around is long and hard. Interesting, huh? The other way is long and hard. People spend many, many years trying to, build a fortune. They experience pain and losses, and by the time they get ripe old ages, they have a lot of experience. And hopefully their attitude will improve. Hopefully their character and integrity will improve. And hopefully they will achieve wisdom. But by then, there's not much time left. Here we do it the reverse. But because wisdom is such a big and complicated and intangible thing, we simplify it. So let's go take a little closer look at simplicity again. Okay. Yeah, so this reverse pathway that our organization have taken, right? We start from the foundation of this reverse pathway. Instead of allowing a person to chase the material, the worldly thing first, we teach a person to go after the spiritual thing, the causality of life first. And once the person master that aspect of life, then everything else falls into place. And they mature much more quickly. They experience richness much more quickly. Right? They get to their destination of a good life much more quickly. So let's talk about simplicity. Because we understand that simplicity is about simplifying life's complexity. It is not about choosing simple things to do. In fact, once you learn to simplify things that are complex, we can do anything. Okay, first we simplify it. Then we do it joyfully. We do it trustingly. We do it routinely, lightly. Okay, and we do it wholeheartedly. We will achieve great value for ourselves and for others when we begin by simplifying the complexities of life. And there's a formula for that. And it is so simple that you would laugh when you see it. Okay, we've already gone through it. We've already shared the knowledge and given you the secret to simplifying life's problem. Simplicity is simply having clear images. Simplicity is about having clear concept. Imagine a 500-piece puzzle. Did you ever play with a puzzle, Ron? Did you ever do a puzzle? Put together a puzzle like a 500-piece puzzle or a 1,000-piece puzzle?
Yes.
If we don't have a picture, would it be a simple thing? Would it be a simple matter to put a picture, a puzzle together if we don't have a picture on a box?
Yeah.
It's pretty complicated.
Yeah.
Right? We can muddle in the dark for a long time. But by simply looking at a picture, we have a clear picture. We know where that, where different part should look like. Then it is a matter of learning the concept. And putting puzzle concept is very simple. You just match the four corners together. And as long as the shape of the, the hole and the hook matches, then you just put one piece next to each other. And in a very short amount of time, we can complete the puzzle. But without clear image, that's complicated. Same thing with life. If it is our health or our relationship or our finance, if we don't have a clear image of what that looks like, and worse yet, instead of having clear image of what our life, what we want, we have very clear image of the stuff we don't want. We have very clear image about our health problems, or of our financial problem, or of our relationship problem, then that picture is going to get very real, the negative picture. But instead, if we have clear image about what we want, okay, if we have a clear image about our health, our finance, our relationship, then we go to work on getting the clear concept. Okay, what are the step-by-step into in achieving that? And since we're human being, and most of the time we operate in the human nature, remember the human construct, there's a human nature aspect of it. and we charge it with a positive energy of honoring gratitude. Okay? Remember the interaction on the vibrational energy frequency? The vibrational energy frequency of time. When our vibrational energy frequency is positive, when our inner state is positive, when our inner state is positive, our vibrational energy frequency is high and ultra high. Thereby, the value that we get out of time is also high or more, as if we had more time. So if we are doing a puzzle, 500-piece puzzle, 1,000-piece puzzle, first we have a clear image. We know exactly what that looks like. Secondly, we know the concept. We know how to put the puzzles together. And we embrace the energy of honoring gratitude. We put ourselves in a state of high vibrational energy frequency. Then we get very productive. In a short amount of time, we can complete the puzzle. But if our energy or inner state is negative, oh, it's so hard. I don't have time to do this. All the negative stuff, then guess what? Our vibrational energy is low. Our sense of time, it's going to be long. It'll drag out, but our value of time is also low. We're not going to get anything done. We'll never get it done. So all we got to do, clear image, clear concept, and positive attitude of honor and gratitude. Of course, we based honoring gratitude and all of that on the foundation of serenity and magnanimity as well. Okay? Having that foundation of serenity and magnanimity help us maintain balance, help us maintain high vibrational energy frequency, and make any task simple. Any complicated task can be simplified by making sure that we have a clear image of what it looked like, what are the clear concept, break it down to step by step, and embracing that task with an energy of positive gratitude attitude. Be grateful for the opportunity to do the task. A boss could give us a complicated project. No problem. Get a clear image of what that project looked like, what the end result looked like. We already have the formula for that, called the root cause formula. Right? Having clear mental images. We have get to the source concept of it. What do we understand about the project? What do we know? What do we understand? And what do we believe? What do we know? What do we believe? And what do we understand? Come to a clear concept, and then become grateful that the boss has given us the opportunity to perform the task, the opportunity to learn, the opportunity to grow, the opportunity to become a better person, more successful person. And that's it. In no time, the task can be completed. And when we can show the boss, whoever give us the project and the task, that we can do this supposedly complicated thing and do it in a short amount of time, and we simplify it, ooh, and that boss is going to look at it and, oh, this person is interesting. This is a person of value. This is a successful person. This is a person of wisdom. I may give them more responsibility. I may have to raise them, give them a raise if I want to keep them. So by simplifying complexities, by having clear image, by having clear concept, we have essentially elevate our value as a human being. And because it is so simple, we can do it joyfully. We can repeat it, do it routinely. We can trust in the process. Because it's so simple, we can trust, and we do it repeatedly, and people will start to notice that we are a person of value. And then they will pool resources and support us. And that give us capability, give us competence, give us power and influence to do even more complicated tasks. All because we learn how to simplify life's complexity. And to simplify it is to have clear image, to have clear concept, and charge it with positive energy. Okay? And the beauty of simplicity is that it also reinforces serenity and magnanimity. Simplicity reinforces the state of balance. Because when things are complicated, we go up and down, right? Our mind, our mental, our emotion, our analytical mind goes all over the place. In the human construct, right? I'm seeing the human construct in my mind right now. When things are complicated, our analytical mind goes up and down, goes positive and negative, goes all over the place. Our emotion goes all over the place. Complexity equals drama, right? Drama is pain and suffering. But simplifying things, it helps reinforce serenity. It reinforces the state of balance. And when we maintain balance, our vibrational energy is ultra high, we can get a lot of things done. Right? And that's it. That's all there is to simplicity. Why complicate things? Right? Let me see. Heart calligraphy. The Vietnamese calligraphy from the heart. Mentor 7, Ron, you're going to have to pass the calligraphy, right?
I've already been practicing. When I was at the offline, I was practicing at the Whit House.
There you go.
We had a class there, and I kind of like it, actually.
Yeah. And you notice how the teacher have simplified it. We begin by drawing a straight line across. The straighter the line is more reflective of the balance of our inner being, right? And so you just practice drawing straight line. Just a simple thing to do. And if we do it with honoring gratitude, wow, I have this opportunity, to draw a straight line. And we're grateful for the teachers and the fellow student who is contributing to their time to giving us the concept, to clarifying out the concept. Drawing straight line becomes a pleasurable thing, a joyful thing to do. And after drawing straight line about 200 times, we can start with the basic strokes, right? And that too is, once we have a clear image, a clear concept, then in no time we can become a master calligraphy artist. Right? People spend decades practicing calligraphy, but in our philosophy, in about 7 days, you can produce the kind of quality piece that my wife has sent you. Because we learn how to simplify it, have clear image, clear concept, and charge it with positive attitude of honoring gratitude. Yeah. What about things like, yeah, go ahead.
The way I see it too, for like cause, condition, and effect, that seed is choice. Your choices that you've made, and the energy.
Absolutely.
Infinity is the energy that you put into it, whether it's positive or negative. And if you make the right choices, you're going to get the positive effect in the end.
Yeah, you make the positive choices.
Yes.
Yeah. You make the positive choices, you're going to get the positive effect.
Yes.
And at some point, we will talk a little bit more about the affinity aspect. Okay. But first, obviously, we're going to need to work on our inner seed. Okay. And that is part of it, to simplify things in such a way that we can, give it, transfer it to other people, so that they can be more readily accepting of it. Last night, I spent 3 hours with Morgan, our friend Morgan. I just went going through the stuff that we've all been going through, and in 3 hours, it went by really fast. My wife also made another calligraphy piece to share with Morgan as an appreciation for her spending a lot of time with us in our Zoom. And at first I thought I was just going to drop it off and say hello and just say a few words. She invited me in for tea, and then 3 hours went by.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And 3 hours went by, and we created a lot of value for each other. Yeah. And so from simplicity, give rise to joy. Okay, so in let's see, where is that sixth golden word connection. Do it simply, do it joyfully. We already went over joy, but I'm just going to repeat it one more time to keep it simple. Remember what joy comes from? Ron, where does joy come from? So joy, let's use joy.
Joy.
Joy. There are two sources of joy. One source of joy comes from pleasure. Okay. Oh, darling. Joy. Okay. Two sources. One is pleasure. So EASURE. One source of joy is pleasure. It is the satisfaction of the human needs and desire. Pleasure is the satisfaction of the desire for resources, for appearance, for identity, for consumption and rest. Okay, when we have desire for resources, which is things like money and power, and we have money and power, then we feel pleasure, and that is a source of joy. When we have desire for appearance, physical beauty, or the appearance of the spatial surrounding around us, or the appearance of organizational structure, for instance. When our desire is satisfied, we experience pleasure, and that is the source of joy. We have a desire for identity. Our ego needs to be recognized. Our pride needs to be satisfied. When those desires are satisfied, then we experience pleasure, and that gives rise to joy. We have need and desire for rest. If we go to vacation, if we can lie down to sleep, then our pleasure is met and we experience joy. We have desire for consumption. We consume food and water. We consume the media. We consume knowledge and ideas. When those desires are satisfied, we experience pleasure, and that is a source of joy. However, those are all outside of our inner being. Right? With our inner being being inside, everything else is outside, and when we look outside of it, the satisfaction of those needs and want is fleeting. Right? They are fleeting, impermanent. And where we derive pleasure, in that same space is where we will find pain and suffering. If we desire consumption for food and water and we don't get food and water, it quickly turns into dissatisfaction, and before we know it, it's anger and resentment. Right? So when joy derived from pleasure is very fleeting, and there is a big risk of going negative. On the other hand, joy also comes from serenity, inner peace, inner balance. When we are balanced, when we're at peace, we also feel a sense of joy. But that joy can be initiated anytime, because it is not dependent on external circumstances. It is from within us. Inner peace comes from within us, from the truth within us, right? The true nature, our true nature, and that true nature does not change over space and time. The truth does not change over space and time, and therefore, it can be lasting. Two sources of joy. One is from pleasure. Nothing wrong with seeking joy from pleasure, but that is fleeting. There's a risk of going negative. And when our vibrational energy frequency is negative, when our inner state is negative, our vibrational energy frequency is low, then the outcome in life that we experience is also low and negative and undesirable. But if we can maintain high vibrational energy frequency, ultra high vibrational energy frequency, by maintaining a state of inner balance and serenity, then our joy becomes lasting. And if our joy becomes lasting, then it can be more simple to do things. Whereas if we derive joy from pleasure, we can only do things when we feel good. Things get complicated when we feel bad. So we are always depending on external sources for our action, for our motivation, our drive. But if we derive our joy from serenity, inner peace, it is ultra balanced. It is always there. We can always draw on the energy of serenity, because the truth within us does not change over space and time. That we can experience joy at any time, in any circumstance, and it becomes simple to do whatever it is we need to do. So joy reinforces simplicity, and simplicity reinforces joy. And it helps us be able to do things simply and do things joyfully. Right? Simplicity breeds joy, and joy reinforces simplicity. And that's the first two notches in the key called the 6 golden words in action. Which brings us to the internal body transformation exercise that we've been doing. Okay. So we've been doing it pretty simply. Every morning for the past couple of weeks, Ron's family and I, we have been getting up in the morning at 3:30, 4 a.m. and we just jump in and we just exercise. We started doing, we started learning the 12 movements of the internal body transformation. We take it step by step. It is a simple thing to do, right? To get up in the morning. We gave ourselves a little break, and that's fine. That is to satisfy our need for rest. But tomorrow, I think we need to go back to the routine, okay, to do the internal body transformation again. And this time, we're going to see if we can re-energize the joy of it, re-energize the simplicity of it, and enjoy it. Simplicity comes from what? Right, comes from having clear image of what it looks like, having clear concept of what it looks like, and being grateful for the opportunity to do it. Tomorrow I may not do the lecture thing. I feel like we need to do the physical thing. we were off for a couple of days, so just tomorrow we're just gonna do the warm up, or we'll maybe do the actual 12 move. We'll do the physical, and then at some point I'll update the flyer and see if we can get some new people. Once some new people join us, then we'll do the lecture. Yeah.
Yes, Hua gave my number to some people in Australia, so I'm going to try and talk them into joining in if they ever get a
Okay,
hold.
awesome.
Or I'll try to.
Yeah, if a new person show up, then we'll do the lecture. Otherwise, we'll just carry on with the physical exercises. Okay.
I guess they're
Yeah,
part
so
of
that,
the portion of Mentor 7.
yeah, and if you can do that, if you can actually share the knowledge and invite other people to the Zoom, for instance, what you are essentially doing is you are essentially cultivating your seed with your positive affinity. Yeah. The golden rule: do to others what we will have done unto ourselves. If we want to be more healthy physically, healthier mentally, spiritually, emotionally, we help other people reach the same state, and therefore we will earn that credit in our spiritual account, and we will experience that life, that reality more simply.
I'm not sure
it
how
is a
many.
law. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm not sure how many hours ahead they are, so it'd probably be in the evening. when they-
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. Okay. So that's it. Yeah, let's keep it simple today. We talk about simplicity. Okay. Um, we talk about causality. All of human life is reduced down to one word, the golden rule, causality. And the three energy is always there. Honor and gratitude, magnanimity, and serenity. And we'll experience a good life.
Yes.
Okay. Right.
All right. Thank you, Frank. I appreciate everything
I-
you're doing.
I'm grateful for your presence, and I'm honored by your participation.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow.
Yes, we'll see you in the morning.
All right, take
Bright and
care.
early.
Bye-bye.